What's good, YouTube? It's Nas, and we're back with another video. We on the road to 60 subscribers. I guess we're 3 away. So, if you're watching this video and you end up liking it, or you make it to the end of this video, subscribe. Posting every day, and just on the journey to be signed big. But today we're gonna be talking about the evolution of the shooting big man. I guess I got 3 examples of. I think that our that our big men that elevated the game into what we see now, like the stretch bigs or stretch shooting centers, or the reason why there's no more really back to the basket 3 point big mans. There's only 3 point big mans like stretch bigs, like Porzingis, Cat, and the list goes on. But let's just get right into it. First, we're going to start off with the OG shooting big man, or the OG stretch big, in Dirk Nowitzki. Dirk Nowitzki, I'm not going to talk about all his years because he played 21 years. So let's go from 2001 to 2002 to 2011. In 2001-2002, he averaged 23, 9 and 2, shooting 36% from the 3 point line. And really, Dirk was really the first one, or the second one, if you want to count Tony Kukoc as a power forward. But he really transitioned the league into having to guard a 7-foot big man up wherever he was, or when he was at the 3, or his signature post fadeaway shot that revolutionized the game. 2002, he averaged 25 and 9 and 3, which really backed up his last season. I'm pretty sure one of these seasons he won MVP, if I'm not mistaken. Nah, that was 05-06. I'm remembering now. 02-03, he averaged. No, 2003 to 2004. Sorry, he averaged 21.8, 8 rebounds and 2 assists. And Dirk from this period was really starting to become one of the best big men in the game. He was already an all-star. We're going to skip because he kind of averaged the same stats all over. 26, 9 and 3, 26, 9 and 2, which was 26, 9 and 2 ended up being his MVP season. When he versed the Miami Heat, he obviously lost, but being that people say the game was rigged, you can't really do anything about that. But Dirk, for his career, he had a career percentage of 38%, which is really unheard of as a big man. Big men are not labeled as 3-point shooters, like I said, or during that time they were labeled as back to the basket bigs. Like, if you had a post move, you most likely were going to be one of the best in the league. Like Shaq, for example. Yao Ming, he had a back to the basket game. David Robinson, he was fast, but he still had a back to the basket game. Even before the injury, Greg Oden, early or the late 2000s, Greg Oden was nice. Go watch highlights before Greg Oden got injured. People wouldn't really be calling him a bust today if he'd never really experienced injuries like he had. And that was a good pick for the Portland Trailblazers, by the way. But in the 2009 season, he had his best career average of 42.1%, which, like I said, is Dirk. In 2015 and 2016, he averaged 36.8%. 2014-15, his older days, he averaged 38%. In 2013-14, one of his last All-Star appearances, he averaged 39. But Dirk played the power forward and the power forward, center, and the small forward, and he was one of the first big men to actually adapt the 3-point shot into his game. Next, we are going to get into Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh, in my opinion, is one of the underrated. That's not a word, but he's one of the most underrated players in NBA history. I feel like his numbers in Toronto don't really get recognized because he was such a good role player / all-star on the Miami Heat. But prime Chris Bosh, prime when he was doing it by himself, he averaged 22, he basically averaged 20 and 10 every season. 22, his last 2 seasons in Toronto, he averaged 22.7 points, 10 rebounds. And then this final season in Toronto, he averaged 24 and 10, which he was putting up great numbers on. I'm pretty sure they made the playoffs one season, but don't fact check me on that or go check for yourself. But obviously, he went to Miami and he carved out an excellent role as a stretch big. And for his career, he's often recognized as that stretch four, which in this video we're talking about sharpshooting big men. So why not involve Chris Bosh into this video? But in his career, he averaged a shooting percentage of 33.5, so not as good as Dirk, obviously, and the last player we're going to name. But Chris Bosh is one of the people that revolutionized the game too, and he's often compared into new rookies entering the league, but in my opinion, there will never really be another player like Chris Bosh, the way he was able to stretch the floor, defend, and obviously he was able to put it on the ground for the mid-range when he was in Toronto. He showed that skill set with LeBron and Wade were hurt one year. If you remember, he put a string together of games where he looked like Toronto Chris Bosh, and he still had it in him. In his final season, he was an all-star. He averaged, let me pull up the numbers right now. Chris Bosh averaged 19 and 7 his final year. Obviously, the blood clot slowed him down, and he could have had a good more couple seasons left in him if, because of that jump shot he had, his percentage was only getting better, and that's just it for Chris Bosh. The next we're going to do, he calls himself the best shooting big man of all time. Not a lot of people debate it. Some people say it's Dirk, but obviously it's Karl-Anthony Towns. Karl-Anthony Towns has won a three-point contest champion as a big man. He's one of the best shooting big men, or he's one of the best shooters in the league, I would say. He's the New York Knicks' best shooter right now, arguably if you want to, but he's obviously that. And Cat, when he first came to the league, he was really a post-up player, but he obviously started to show more of the jump shot later on during his career. He was pulling the mid-range, but he wasn't pulling the three at a high clip he is now or when he started a few seasons ago. But Cat is one of those players I feel like has transitionized or revolutionized the game. If people don't want to admit it, so be it, but in his second season, let me tell you his averages. Second season, when he really broke out, he wasn't an all-star. I'm surprised he wasn't an all-star. How wasn't he? He averaged 25 and 12. The next season, when he was an all-star, he averaged 21 and 12, which he had a drop-off, actually. He was still an all-star. But this was the season they made the playoffs with Jimmy Butler on them. Obviously, they split up. But we're going to skip down the line. When they got Anthony Edwards, playing team, he averaged 24 and 10. Playoffs after the next season, he averaged 24 and 9. And obviously, you know the history. The next season, he averaged 21 and 9. 20 and 9, he gave the team over to Anthony Edwards, and we all seen what happened. Anthony Edwards took over the lead, and he became the best player. But Karl-Anthony Towns held it down for many seasons, and he really showed that you could be one of the best big men without having to post up every possession. If your jump shot's that good, you could do whatever the hell you want. If you're making the shot, Shaq often criticized Cat for not putting his chest into somebody, but the jump shot was working. He dropped 60 points, shooting like 12 jump shots. I'm shooting like 12 or 15 jump shots, and he made like 8 of them. But I don't know who holds the record for three-pointer as a big man, but I'm not going to get into all that. Before his career, Karl-Anthony Towns, they don't have his numbers. What the hell? But let me just tell you the stats. For 22-23 season, he averaged 36.6% from the three-point line. 2021 to 2022, he averaged 41%. 2020 to 2021, he averaged 38%. In 2019-2020, he averaged 41.2%. And right now, in current 2024 with the New York Knicks, he averaged 53.7%. Obviously, that number is going to fluctuate throughout the season because the season has just started. But if Karl Anthony Towns keeps it up, he's going to go down as one of the best shooters in history, not just big man. But moreover of this video is how y'all feel about shooting big men. Do you feel like they need to get back to the basics, or do you like how the game has evolved? But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe if you like it.